I really think that so many of us get ourselves into different situations where we are feeling overwhelmed and stressed out because we think life should just be a straight shot to success. We think that once we decide that we want to change our life, that everything is just supposed to go perfectly as planned. We imagine ourselves getting on this magical escalator where we just keep on going up and up and up. We, achieve more success. We have more healing, more growth, more abundance, more happiness, and just this beautiful, prosperous life. And yes, growth does happen. I think a lot of us, tend to forget that there are also lots of bumps in the road as well. There are pauses, there are setbacks, there are moments where we're going to feel exhausted. There are moments where we are actually going to question everything because it's not making sense to us. There are also going to be moments where we may need to stop and heal deeper before we can continue building the life that we truly desire. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. My name is Cassie, and on this channel, we talk all things of healing, self-love, and self-care, and of course, becoming your dream woman. And so, yes, today I really wanted to record this video because I was feeling like so many people are silently struggling with this right now. Even me personally. I've been on this weight loss journey, and honestly, I just wanted it to be done already. I wanted it to happen fast, and I wanted to arrive at the finish line and feel like, okay, yes, I made it. But that's not how transformation always works. Sometimes your body will need to adjust. Sometimes progress is going to stall. Sometimes you're actually going to need to, shift things around. And sometimes you will need to heal. There will also be some times where your body is going to require you to rest a bit. And then there will be times where your mind needs to catch up to where your soul is trying to go. And honestly, healing is the same exact way. Building a business is the same thing. Going back to school, guess what? Same thing again. And creating your dream life is, yes, the same thing. It's all like a little roller coaster, or maybe a big roller coaster, depending on your situation. There are days where you are going to feel unstoppable and where you are going to feel so motivated and inspired and even excited for your future. And then there will also be days where you're going to just want to quit, where you are going to start to question yourself, and where you are going to feel like you just want to throw in that towel. And you will also wonder if you are even on the right path anymore. And I think what happens is that we become so frustrated when life just doesn't go exactly as we expected it to go. We start getting aggravated. We doubt ourselves. We start thinking maybe that, this path isn't even worth it anymore. Maybe we're even, feeling like we're failing. Maybe we're feeling that we're not even good enough anymore. And maybe we feel that this dream just isn't meant for us. And I know that feeling deeply because I've experienced it too. There have been so many moments on my own journey where I thought things should, be going one way, but they were actually going a whole different way. And then, that made me stop and think, am I even doing the right thing anymore? Is this still my path? Why does everything have to feel so difficult? And what I realized is sometimes we need to take a pause and ask ourselves some important questions. Maybe there is something that we need to adjust. Maybe we need to look at the whole picture and see if there's a smoother route that we can take. And then also, we have to figure out maybe life is trying to redirect us. And then, maybe figuring out if those bumps in the road are actually trying to get our attention. Because life's events speak to us in different ways to say, hey, no, this isn't where you're supposed to go, or yes, it is. And so many different things. It's good to continue doing these check-ins with yourself to see where you are. Because sometimes the path isn't hard at all because you're failing. Sometimes the path feels hard because you're still becoming the version of yourself that can hold the life that you are asking for. And that realization changed everything for me. Because for a long time, I thought I was doing everything right. I was taking actions. I was saying my affirmations. I was doing my journaling business. I was doing all of the so-called right things. And while those things do matter, I realized the problem wasn't necessarily of what I was doing, but who I was being. I was still emotionally operating as the old version of myself. I was still allowing those old thoughts to come into my mind. I was entertaining the fear. I was entertaining the doubt. And I was still accepting those damn limiting beliefs as my truth. And when you are feeling, frustrated, when you're just mentally and physically exhausted, and when you're feeling like nothing is working out for you, those old thoughts become really easy to believe again, especially when you have been thinking those thoughts for years. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today. Because I need you to understand that you do not have to accept every thought that enters your mind. Just because a thought shows up for you doesn't mean that it's true. And when life starts to feel hard, when things aren't moving as quickly as you anticipated, when your manifestations hasn't arrived yet, and when your healing feels very messy, these are the exact moments when you need to become more aware of where your mindset is. Because what ends up happening is your ego starts to go in panic mode. Beep, beep, the red lights are going off. And just like that, your ego starts saying, oh, this should have happened already. You are so behind. What's wrong with you? Why isn't this working? Because your ego is looking for these fast results. We want the instant gratification, these cheap dopamine hits, and what feels familiar to us in our lives. And so your mind continues to try to pull you back into those old patterns because that's what feels safe. Even if those old patterns were unhealthy, even if they kept you stuck there for years, even if they made you unhappy, the mind will still try to pull you back because it fears change. And this is where you have to become very intentional. You have to start catching those thoughts. You have to start saying, no, we are not doing this anymore. Those thoughts we are no longer accepting. These are not part of my life anymore. This is no longer who I am. Because if you continue allowing those old thoughts to plant weeds in your mind, they're going to grow. For me personally, I realize that's exactly what has happened to me over the last several months. I allowed stress and pressure to consume me. I started thinking things should have already happened. I started feeling discouraged, and little by little, I allowed those old beliefs to sneak back in. I accepted those beliefs, my truth. And because of that, I kept myself emotionally attached to my old timeline. And this is so important because if your thoughts continue matching your old life, guess what? You will continue experiencing your old life. So to enter this new timeline, to become your dream woman, to create a different reality for yourself and your family, you have to think differently. Even when your current reality doesn't reflect anything, even when that business hasn't taken off yet, even when love hasn't arrived, even when those new opportunities didn't work out, and even when you didn't get the house, things just feel delayed overall for you, and life just feels unfair. You still cannot allow those different circumstances to define who you become. And all I want to say is this: if you are currently in a healing season, please be patient with yourself. Healing is not glamorous all the time. Sometimes healing can feel lonely. Sometimes it feels exhausting. Sometimes it feels frustrating. And sometimes it even feels confusing. But healing is the helping tool that will help you build the stronger foundation. So if you're trying to build your dream life on an unstable foundation, eventually everything will collapse. So yes, the healing process does take time, but it matters. It matters more than you even realize, because you are becoming a stronger person. But not only stronger person, you're also becoming wiser, more emotionally secure, and someone who's actually capable of holding the life that you're actually asking for. And during this journey, your mindset matters so much. You have to become like the analyst of your life, girl, okay? Seriously. Start analyzing your thoughts the way that you would analyze a spreadsheet. Look at what thoughts are helping you grow and which thoughts are destroying your peace. And ask yourself, what beliefs need to go? What beliefs are sabotaging my future? What does these beliefs mean to me? What do they represent? What patterns am I continuing to water here? Because your mind is like a garden, and whatever you continuously water, it's going to grow. So if you keep on watering the fear, the doubt, insecurity, frustration, hopelessness, and self-pity, those weeds will take over your garden. But if you start planting new seeds, new beliefs, new thoughts, and new expectations, eventually your entire life will begin to shift. And that's really what I want you to take from this video today. Your life does not need to look perfect right now. Your journey does not need to be a straight line. And you are not failing because there are bumps in the road. You are human. You are healing. You're growing and evolving. And sometimes the path gets messy before it actually becomes beautiful. So give yourself grace. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Keep showing up daily. Keep choosing yourself every day. Keep protecting that mindset. and keep planting better seeds at any chance you get, because your new life is not created overnight. It is created moment by moment, thought by thought, and of course, decision by decision. And one day you're going to look back and realize that every bump in the road was actually shaping you into the person who you needed to become in order to live this life that you desire. I hope you have a great day. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.